So we're not going to go over every single card. We're going to go over cards that I think I might have rated incorrectly. Alright. Is Crane good in Demon Hunter? I feel like I'm okay with. I think we don't necessarily want to play him all that often. Militia. I think there's a chance there is some kind of Soul Fragment deck in Demon Hunter, and even if this hits only 2 things, I think that's good. I think that's okay. I wonder if there's any value to True Aim Crescent in Demon Hunter. I'm not sure about True Aim Crescent in Demon Hunter. I still don't know what to do with it. I still am not sure what to do with this in Demon Hunter. But in Hunter, it seems so good. I don't know if this will be just, like, unplayable, but I still don't know how I'm playing with it. I know you're really high on Kreen, Neji. It feels questionable to me. Feels like low pressure, and it's only good if we're trading, and Demon Hunter doesn't want to trade. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sold on it. I'm not really sold on True Aim Crescent either. The deck has to have a very different minion composition than it has right now. Like, this is fine with Lapidary, but with Lapidary you want to be playing a different weapon. Well, like, what am I doing with this? Current Demon Hunter doesn't want to trade, but what did Demon Hunter get that makes trading better? What minions do you see that make trading better? I don't really know. I don't really see any minions that are like, oh, I definitely want to trade more with Demon Hunter now. I don't think that this is the Demon Hunter card. Keen on Kreen, that is a good phrase. I don't want to trade with current Demon Hunter, and if I do, then it's fine. Big DH, eh. If I'm playing Big DH, I don't have smaller minions to play with this. Okay. Contextually, this is a backup card. Where is this? What is it? What am I going to do for... hello? Hello, Google Chrome? Hello, Google Chrome, can you respond? Glide is worse when I look at not just the entire set, when I look at one card. Maybe not bad. Maybe that's not right. But yeah, so like, I don't know. I envision a world where I play Kreen on 3 and trade with a 2/3, and I'm like, how happy am I with my turn 3? I'm just not sure. I think this is bad. I think this is insane. I think this is a bad card. Double jump. People are telling me that I'm crazy for giving this a 1, but I don't know what I'm getting with this. I'll put it as a 2 in case you need to get I-beam. But also... yeah. I think that you could have the argument... oh, Rascal Naga, I think there's something there. I think you could have the argument for double jump with card draw. And I'm swayed by that existing. I'm swayed by that idea. I think that's a relevant idea. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Just Glide and Skull. I do not want to run... I don't think I want to run Glide. I want to run Reader. I think I want to run Reader. They don't have... I mean, if they don't have a weapon or a rush minion... or damage... or something... like, you're assuming that doesn't this meta have a lot of ways to play from hand for every single deck? I don't think that's going to change. I don't think this meta is suddenly going to become all about board battles when we're already not about board battles. Guardian Animals. Well, I don't think that we're gliding our opponent's hand most of the time, but yeah, I can see that argument. So here's the thing. About Guardian Animals. Is that, like... it will see a lot of play on day 1. and it will be extremely powerful on day 1. And when they nerf all the things that enable it, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. I mean, not their entire turn 4. They can play anything that deals 4 damage to 1 minion, and then you don't have pressure because you played a 2/4. And also, if they're not a minion deck, then you played a 3-mana 2/4. You're assuming there's going to be a lot of board battles. If you're going to assume there's going to be a lot of board battles, then we change how we build our decks to be good against board battles from hand. There are any number of ways to deal 4 damage from hand. You play it on turn 3 and you get Nether Breath, then you're really unhappy. If they have a dormant Felmaw and it wakes up, like, you can't do anything with your Kreen. So Kreen is just a 3-mana 2/4. Matador Hat, exactly. Exactly. So, Guardian Animals. So the thing is, Guardian Animals isn't what's broken. It's things around Guardian Animals. But that's flavor of the month, not favor. I am also prepared to say that Targeted Recruit is a little scary. And since it'll see play on day 1, and since I don't expect this to get nerfed, hello, Google Drive. Okay, so here. There we go. So this is what we're doing. We're changing this. So here's the thing about Guardian Animals. It is Targeted Recruit. Oh, do I have extra line breaks? I do indeed have extra line breaks. There we go. So, Guardian Animals, because it will influence how they print 5-mana beasts for as long as it's around, because Druid will always have ramp, and because it dictates our deck building choices, then it is by definition a build around power card. You start your deck with it, you know exactly what you're getting with it. I don't think this is the reason why Druid is broken. I think if you nerf around this card gets substantially worse, but contextually this card is good right now. Now, I don't think the effect is actually as powerful as it seems, because as long as you don't print Twilight Runner, then this card is not very good. But it's a 7-mana payoff, and Druid ramps from Overgrowth into 7, and ramping from Overgrowth into 7 means you need a 7-mana payoff, and this is good enough right now. Twilight Runner we'll get to in a second. What if Overgrowth is nerfed? So, like, if anything gets nerfed, then what you're doing is... If anything gets nerfed, then what you're doing is reevaluating cards, because we have to evaluate context. Steve, it is one of the build-arounds. But when you play Guardian Animals, you're changing how your deck is structured, and it's Overgrowth, it's Guardian Animals, it's Kael'thas. The deck has, like, a lot of build-arounds right now. But it's Kael'thas, Overgrowth, and Guardian Animals. It's true, but this is the broken thing right now, and it fits perfectly. And I think that I would call that a build-around. Maybe it's a key support, but because it dictates what your deck looks like, because it dictates that, I think it needs to be a card that we are calling a build-around by every definition. In Druid, we were not. We weren't interested in playing any. So that means that we are changing the composition of the deck because of this card. So I think that means we are quite literally building around it. I'm probably wrong about Runic Carvings, but I'm leaving it. Gift of the Wild, Gift of the Wild is a 1, we're not playing it. Yeah, Twilight Runner we'll get to in a second. Like, when I'm starting a Druid deck here, we can just do this. This is... You were a special bit. You were a special person. And that is a compliment of the highest order. Alright, where are we? Deck Builder. Okay. We are starting with... Hello? Why is everything broken? That was not the payoff, Steve. It was overflow. Hello? Did I miss something? Hello? Okay. Let's try this the different way. Boop. Okay. Druid. Start here. Hello? Hello? Is any deck builder good? Okay. Try this again. Compelling content. That's what we're doing. Okay. K. A. Cool. I'm starting here. This is where I'm starting. Starting with these. You can play like Lightning Bloom. You need it to enable Kael'thas, and maybe you can make the argument that you need Kael'thas Nova to enable these cards. But I think that given this particular composition, Guardian Animals and Twilight Runner means we're not playing Fungal Fortunes, we're not playing Glowfly Swarm. So I think that this particular composition of cards indicates what we're excluding as well and what we're including as well, right? This makes me want to play Mana Saber, maybe even Teacher's Pet. Kael'thas obviously has a lot of cards that he brings along with him, but this makes me also not want to play Fungal Fortunes, not want to play Exotic Mount Seller. It changes how the deck looks and is worth building around in this very specific fashion. Just because it draws you cards in your deck. Bach for life. The Twilight Runner is the reason why this is such a crazy payoff. And this card, I think, will probably get changed to draw one card. And that'll make a big difference because this immediately draws you more Bog Beams and more Bog Beams and more Iron Barks. And then that makes your Kael'thas better. And then you go off again with Kael'thas and you play Natural Selection. So I think this particular payoff is uniquely powerful. Mount Seller is built around a different package. This feels more consistent, and it draws you cards that are already in your deck while making Kael'thas even better. So I think these are the build-arounds. These 4 cards. And because we're building around Guardian Animals first, then I think that means that I'm giving that a 5. Does that make sense? Does all make sense? Overflow? Yeah. I mean, Overflow I think is more of a key support, right? I think that's another one of the payoffs for Kael'thas, but I think I'm really just starting here. They kind of do, Bach, but this way you can also just, like, play Twilight Runner. I don't know. I understand it's... Any of these cards could be anywhere near it, but I think that Guardian Animals with Twilight Runner specifically is a very particular payoff, and I'm changing this now. This I expect to get changed to draw 1 card. I understand there are ramp things. At play here. I think this will get changed to draw 1 card. Because draw 2 cards is kind of silly. I don't think it needs to draw 2. Maybe they're enabling a different archetype. But when you print animals... Yo, Mike, thanks for the host. When you print animals and this in the same set, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing with animals into runner. That is something that is done very intentionally. Like, if we hadn't seen it, Steve, then maybe not. But it's so strong. Menagerie Warden is when we're copying Stranglethorn. I'm not sure that's true. Like, I think this particular payoff is very, very powerful. And I would not compare it to Menagerie Warden. I think this will end up drawing 1 card. Or costing 6. Yeah, this is, I would strongly agree this is much better than that. Okay. They put in Voracious Reader, Stika Wish. That is some strong neutral card draw. I'm doing that pun on purpose. Let me clarify. Alright, so Groundskeeper. I think I agree with this. I think I like this. It is meta warping. It is meta warping, Steve, and I think that it will be necessary, but I am rating this a 6, not because I think it's necessarily broken on its own, but because I expect them to change it. I am rating this a 6 because I expect them to change it. Like, this is a card that I have some relatively significant belief that they will change. And I don't know if they will change it because of that specific deck, but drawing 2 cards is kind of crazy. Well, no, at minimum it gets Rot Nested Dagger Day. That's the minimum. But Stealth as well. If it didn't have Stealth, I could see it. I mean, you ramp into this. I do expect there will be some nerfs as well to the mana ramp, but I don't expect this card to stay where it is, which is why I'm rating it a 6. It's 2 cards, and it has base Stealth. Seems kind of crazy. Seems pretty powerful. What's up, Enthrallment? But I expect that also that Druid will be meta warping and you gotta go really fast. But if the meta's really fast and the aggro is really good, and then they nerf the aggro, they have to nerf the Druid. I expect this card will see a nudge within the next expansion or 2. I don't know if this is good. I know that this is good. I'm bumping this up. I'm bumping this up. Yeah, I'm not sold on Adorable Infestation. I'm going to leave Infestation where it is, but I do think Gibberling is pretty crazy. Gibberling is indeed a 1 mana Violet Teacher, and Violet Teacher at 75% off is definitely worth doing. So I feel like that this is a key support to something. I don't know what, but I feel like it's strong enough. I think I'm sticking with Lightning Bloom at a key support, though, and I don't think this will get changed. Gibberling is crazy on turn 1 with the coin and with other stuff. But I think that Gibber is pretty powerful. It is such a cheap way to fill your board with some other kind of support, and there are a lot of other ways to support, and Nature Studies exists. So, like, maybe Gibberling gets worse. The next one does have the text, yes. It keeps going. It keeps going. What's up, Catharsis? Yo, thank you, BR. Appreciate the bits. Hats off, friend. I gotta hydrate. It's a very, very cheap soul board. Steve is 3 extra mana worth 4 extra health. I think 1 mana is crazy for this effect, because it keeps going and going and going and going. It is a 1 mana teacher. The spell does resolve first, it's true, but it's 75% off is crazy. I mean, just because there's removal doesn't mean it's not a powerful threat, so I'm going to keep it at a key support. I think that's fine. I think this is a lot better in Hunter, especially with True Aim. I think this is okay. I think True Aim might actually be a key support. I think this really helps mid-range minions in controlling the board early. I wonder if Bark Stripper is bait. I wonder about Bark Stripper. Is Gibberling a build-around? Kinda. Gibberling is kind of a build-around. Like, it does dictate our deck-building choices, but it's not enough of a payoff. The thing about Gibberling is, like, you can't really come from behind with Gibberling. Can't really do anything about that. Score range. So our scores, I should put that up on the screen. There you go. In the top left there. What sound does Gibberling make? Beef Squatch asking the important questions. I think that based on the sound, it will actually potentially be a 5. I will build around it if it has a better sound bite. So the way that I rate cards in the top left, I'll go over this quickly. I should have gone over this top. Bad card is bad. right? Like, you just don't play it. And that is the Gatekeeper ranking, because beyond bad, we've got 2 power level rankings, right? There's bad and nerf level. And that means I don't care what the card's role is. If it's bad, it's not going to see play, at least not significantly. And if it needs a nerf, I don't care what role it plays, it's going to get changed. If it is a tech or fringe card, it is something like a Waste Warden, then that gets a 2. That means you're going to see it sometimes, but rarely it has to serve a specific purpose. Filler Support is the kind of card like a True Silver Champion, or a Frozen Shadow Weaver, that sometimes it comes in and falls out of decks. That is not true if it gets generated off something, Steve, but otherwise, yeah, you're right. Filler support, so like, it's something that you need to fill out a deck list, and it doesn't mean a card is bad, it just means it's not vital to your strategy. A key support card is pretty vital to your strategy, even if it doesn't make the deck specifically work. It's not necessarily a synergy payoff, or it can be something like Soul Mirror that's a really powerful card that you play, and if someone says, what can I do to replace Soul Mirror, you can't really. It just makes the deck worse. Another example of a key support card, something like Kane Sun Fury, right? Or at least the post-nerf Kane Sun Fury. You just always play it. Or it can be something like Evil Miscreant. Build around something like Overgrowth, something like Risky Skipper. In these examples, almost all build arounds are there are times when it feels like they could use a nerf, but it could even be something like the Pure Paladin cards, right? Could be something like Lightforged Crusader, the 4-drop one, Zealot, Lightforged Zealot, because you're dictating your deck choices based on it, and it's worth the payoff. Also, like Nether Breath and Crazed Netherwing are total build arounds. It's really defining your deck. It can be a win condition, but it's just something that dictates the direction that your deck goes in. And then needs a nerf. We talked about it already. So I think Gibberling is not the reason to play the deck, but I think it makes the deck better. You could. It's true, Steve, but also, like, Animals is going to be a big payoff. Don't underestimate how much. It's possible, but, like, so if you don't get Gibberling on 1, you're actually the build around in that deck, Seeker-Wish, is Savage Roar, and it always has been. It's just, how can we abuse Savage Roar and Power of the Wild in a lot of ways? Now, Gibberling, what do we play in a Gibberling deck that we don't already play in a Savage Roar deck? Like, what's different about it? And maybe we go lower to the ground. You only have 2 of these. If you only get it on turn 1, I think these are cards we would play anyways, even if Gibberling didn't exist. It's a Savage Roar deck. You're building around Savage Roar first and foremost. Gibberling is probably one of the first inclusions after Savage Roar. I don't want to play this card. I don't think that's actually good. Maybe it is, but I don't think it's actually good. This combination is good on turn 1 with Coin Lightning Bloom, and otherwise I don't see it. And if we have Gibberling on turn 3, I don't just want to be infestationing. Not sure what you're going for Mage. I guess so, Bach, but that's also, if you take Gibberling out of the deck, it's the same thing. I really think that's a Savage Roar deck. And we were already kind of playing Blessing of the Ancients in any token builds, and token builds weren't really existing anyways because Risky Skipper is a thing. Nalandon, I'm not sure what you're looking for, but I can get you whatever deck list you want. I don't know. I think this is a support card to Savage Roar. And I think it's always just support cards for Savage Roars. That's my thinking. But I don't want to play Infestation. And Gibberling, if Gibberling was something that I could play that was not just a great card on turn 1 or 2, then I'd be happier about it. But I'm not building around a 1-drop like that. Not one that has such a specific effect. And I wouldn't say even Small Time Buccaneer was not a build around per se. It was more that, like, Patches was the build around. And Spirit Claws. Yeah, it's 1 cog. I agree on the 1 cog, but I think that it's powerful enough to be a key card. True Aim Crescent is really hard to rate. But I think True Aim Crescent makes a Hunter deck that tries to develop a little bit better, just giving all of your chunky Hunter minions rush. And I think it could be something that makes a Death Rattle Hunter. If it's gonna exist, it might be a thing. But I think I'm happy with the 4 here. And I think Bark Stripper... I think Crescent is really strong. Like, I think it just enables a different kind of build for Hunter. Being able to hit immediately with your Felmaw after it wakes up and attacks, being able to hit immediately with your Poison Dragon, being able to hit with anything you play the turn you play it, just feels pretty powerful, and you get to, like, play Zixor and attack twice. You get to attack with a Zixor into something, then True Aim something else. It could replace Desert Spear. It could, and it's got 4 durability. 1 mana, 4 durability. I understand it's a Light's Justice, but also it just gives your minions kind of pseudo rush. Feels really powerful, and they get to attack face and trade. That seems worth it. It might be, Schwal. It might be. But it seems really good to me. I know you're high on it, Neji, too. This is fine. This is bad. This is bad. Kind of okay. This is going to be higher than a 1. Desert Spear is pretty crazy for board control. Blood Herald's bad. I feel like there's gonna be some kind of way for Wolpertinger to just be a thing. Maybe not. Maybe this is just not true. Like, it's Alley Cat with upside. Crescent is kind of Super Collider, yeah. But the floor is an Alley Cat. Alley Cat wouldn't be good right now. Alley Cat would be a bad card right now. So the question is, does this enable a different kind of beast deck? Or is there some other beast deck that we don't currently play that we can get here? Are those scenarios good enough? It kind of is, but it's also a 1 mana 1/1. Oh, thank you. Can I have a paper towel too? Oh, you're cleaner than me. Thank you. Let's run back the pickle. It's getting green screened. Seeker Wish is not a 1 mana 6/6. It's a 3 mana 6/6. That you have to hit when you tutor. And you're not building your deck around it. Okay, but so are we building our deck around Wolpertinger? Scavenger's Ingenuity right now goes and gets Zixor, or Diving Griffin, or Zixor Prime. Would you rather have a Wolpertinger than those things? Would you really rather have a Wolpertinger? And also, if you draw Scavenger's Ingenuity later game, and you look at your Wolpertinger, like what happened to Crip on stream, he drew Wolpertinger, and there were 3 Zixor Primes in his deck. Are we happy? Is that what we want to do? Spring Paw replacement. This is no Spring Paw. Sir, this is no Spring Paw. I get where you're going. Oh, what's up, Zoroshio? Jason, thank you for the follow. Yeah, it's Scavengers, and so, like, Impact's list doesn't even run Griffin. It cuts Griffin. It just runs Zixor and then Zixor Prime. And you know what? That might be right. But is Scavenger's Ingenuity-ing this better than Ingenuity on Griffin, Ingenuity on Zixor, Ingenuity on Zixor Prime, Ingenuity on Phase Stalker? Big agree. Big agree, Zoroshio. So, if you're buffing this, and it's with Scavengers, and you're running this with Scavengers, then that means that you are content with generally powering down your deck for 2 3/3s on turn, potentially as early as turn 2. It's possible. Alright, it's possible that we coined it out on turn 2, we got 2 3/3s, we're pretty happy. Is that good enough? I don't know. It's fine. You're playing 2 cards to make this happen. So I don't know. Could go in Quest Hunter. I think I'm going to leave it at a 3. But the buffing scenario, I think, is the myth. I see what you did there, Daggerty. See what you did there. I'm going to put this at fringe. Alright. Yes. Yes. I don't know if this is a key support or a filler support, but I like it as just a Dreadlord. But that means that sometimes we don't play it. Is Spell Damage Mage a thing? Is Spell Damage Mage a thing? I like Wrass a lot. But is a Dreadlord a key support card? Or is it just a 5-mana 3/6 that deals 1? I know it goes face. I don't know if Spell Damage Mage is a thing. We don't play Raz. If you're playing a Tempo Mage, you don't play it. If you're playing a Cyclone Mage, you don't play it. It costs 5. It costs a lot. It costs a lot. So the thing about Raz and Jandis, the thing about Raz and J-Bar, the thing about these cards is that they're not really as purposeful. It's not really as purposeful. You play them in Highlander, sure, but does that mean they're key support cards? Does that mean they're key support? J-Bar, I think, is just a lot of stats. Right? J-Bar is a lot of stats. But Mozaki, you're building around it, and you can play it on 5 and just jam it on 5, and it's fine. Or also, you can play, like, it just has to kill. Janice is great. It's a lot of stats. Yeah, it's J-Bar. That's what we're calling her. Her name is J-Bar. But the thing is, both of these cards, if I had to cut them, I wouldn't feel bad about it. And that means they're not key support. Now, I do think that J-Bar is very powerful in a lot of stats. Sure, softening up, but, like, that's not a... If I'm playing Raz, just for 5 mana, deal 1 to all enemies, like, that's fine. It's a good card, right? And filler support cards don't have to be bad. A key support card is something much more powerful. Right, a key support card is something that, it's your Vile Spine Slayers, it's your Evil Miscreants. Yeah, I think Mozaki is a great card. I think we're building around it, or at least acknowledging its existence in any deck that we put it in, because it dictates our spell density. 3/6 functional taunt for 5 mana, okay. Like, I don't think that these are key to any deck's main purpose. I think they're just good deals. So J-Bar is just like, yeah, Siamat's a great comparison. What deck is Siamat really, really strong in? Yeah, I agree, the Contractor. I think so. Roguezar, thank you for the follow. Welcome. The thing about J-Bar is, like, if you don't have her, then you don't, like, it's fine. I think that J-Bar and Rogue will be a lot better. Yeah. I think I'm on filler support for both of these, that I'm not really building around either one, and they're kind of fine. Siamat's good in some decks that plan to hit 7, but what, like, you don't play Siamat in Galakron Priest. And Galakron Priest plans to hit 7 every single game, but you do not play Siamat. Mozaki, yes, I agree, Bach for Life. I think that Mozaki, it dictates her deck building, but often it is just a key support. You can build around her, but you don't have to. Actually, does that mean this is a key support card to something else? Does that mean this is a key support card to something else? I really like this card, but is it the... No. I think it's a support card, but I don't think we're building around it. Right? It does, like, it indicates our... Yeah, Apprentice is the build around. I agree, Bach for Life. I agree. Is Mozaki a win condition, or just, like, a reasonable scaling threat? I compare Mozaki to Emperor Thaurissan. That if you leave it up, the other cards are crazy. Right? If you leave up an Emperor Thaurissan, they kill you with something that doesn't cost enough mana. But you're not playing a Thaurissan deck. And we're not playing a Mozaki deck. We're playing cards that are pretty crazy. Build around legendaries. You build around Edwin Enthrallment. Edwin specifically influences a lot in your deck, and like Malygos, Lorekeeper, Polkelt will be a build around legendary. It really depends on Galakrond. Galakron's a build around legendary. It depends on the nature of the game and how the deck goes, right? In the Cyclone Mage, do I cut Mozaki or Chenvala first? I don't want to cut either. They're both key supports. But I start the deck with Cyclone and Apprentice. Like, I start the deck with Cyclone and Apprentice, and then Mozaki fits. You could build around it sometimes, but I'm going to call it a key support. I think I'm happy about that. It's still very powerful. Still a very powerful card. I like the card. Mana Giant. Yeah, Ice Lance. Every card misses Ice Lance in Standard. Every card misses Ice Lance in Standard. Okay. Some people are really high in this card. I know Zacho is really high in this card. I don't get it. Yeah, Mozaki like Vicina. I think that is a great comparison, Dragonheart. I think that is an excellent comparison. Okay. Day 1. Yeah, Jack could do it. I see that. I think that you're building around the spell damage cards most of the time. Mozaki is too narrow. Yeah, I don't like Potion. I don't like Brain Freeze much either. Yeah, I don't get Devolving Missiles. I don't really get it. Brain Freeze is awesome. It doesn't freeze face, and combo is hard. I don't know. It's a 1-mana spell. Like, yeah, the Golden Art looks awesome. It's a 1-mana spell. I just don't get what I'm playing it for. Like, what is the reason I'm playing it? I don't really know why I'm running it. There are a lot of ways to activate Sleeper. A lot of ways to do it. Devolving Missiles feels like a tech card to me. Feels pretty fringe. Sure, but what am I comboing it for? What is the purpose of that? I mean, Ray of Frost is a crazy card. Like, Ray of Frost is the thing holding mage decks together. I just don't know what Brain Freeze really does. If I'm playing it, I think it's pretty narrow. I think it's a pretty narrow application. I think it means, like, yeah, this feels like a card that I'm playing if I have a specific purpose for it. This seems like a card I'm playing if I have a specific purpose for it. It's pretty fringe. Mozaki, put it in your Tempo Mage decks. It's pretty good. Just put Mozaki, like, if you just play Mozaki on 5 and you have Frostbolts and Ray of Frost and whatever. Sure, I'll be happy to play anything. Evocation with an Apprentice on the board, that the text of the card is irrelevant. If the card was blank and it just had a 1-mana mage spell, then fine. The text of the card is completely irrelevant in that scenario. No. Yes. Is this good? Is this bad? Is this good? Is this bad? I feel like Lab Partner is probably better than I'm giving it credit for, and I think that Studies is probably worse than I'm giving it credit for. I think I like this. I think I like this. It's not really Innervate, though. It's not really Innervate. I think that Studies is pretty specific, but there are times you want to play it. I think Lab Partner goes into a lot of decks. Not everything, but a lot of decks. Yeah, Flame Sleeper is a much better name. But okay, but is this... We don't cut this in the decks that need it. Yeah. It's if you have Sorcerer's Apprentice, every card in the deck is good. That doesn't make this card good, that makes Sorcerer's Apprentice broken. Gas station hot dog. Sounds tasty. We have hot dogs later? She made a face of disgust. You probably all heard the sound. But I want hot dogs now. I think I like this. I think I like downgrading this, and I think Wand Thief is bad. Okay. Maybe? Is Lab Partner as good as Firebrand? I mean, they're both strong. They don't have to be equally good, but I think they're both key support to the decks they're in. Maybe? I don't know what Tempo Mage decks look like, but I don't think I want this in Tempo Mage. I think I'd rather have more relevant cards. Maybe I do. Yeah, Studies does not fetch Mozaki. That's also a large sad, I agree, Dragonheart. Big sad. Oh, so many hydration requests. Did I do these? I don't remember. I'm gonna drink some water. I feel like somebody paid for that. Am I playing Lab Partner in Cyclone? That's a Bach for Life question. Maybe. It's possible. Studies does buff Mozaki, but Mozaki I don't think needs a lot of help. I think Mozaki is just kind of a good card. Feel pretty good about most of these. Some people are lower on Braggart than others, but I think it's pretty strong. But Lab Partner? Any deck that plays Frostbolt and Fireball. I feel like I want to put Lab Partner in a lot of proactive decks. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think so. Bach, I'm very curious about your day one results. I expect they'll be excellent. Yeah, old school Tempo Mage is kind of where I see it. That's one of the early builds I have. But maybe we just go all in on Cyclone, I don't know. Braggart's good, right? Braggart feels good. I stand by this rating. I stand by most of my Paladin ratings. I think I stand by all my Paladin ratings. Priest, this is pretty bad. Maybe. I think that you can just build a more aggressive Pure Paladin. I think that you can just build a more aggressive Pure Paladin, you'll be fine. I think I like all my ratings here. Oh. Y'all knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. It's time to talk about Elucia. This score is not staying the same. Don't worry, Steve. This score is changing. Priest has plenty of hope. Priest's last hope was Apotheosis. This is changing. This is changing. But I think Paladin will get some good cards, even though the archetypes won't change a lot. There are two scores. There are two scores I'm thinking of for this card. Can anyone guess what the two scores are? Anybody guess? Steve, I'm changing the card. Relax. Just chill. There are two scores. Okay. So, chat, are we ever building around this card? Are we ever playing an Elucia deck? Is this ever the reason that we're playing the deck? No, it is not. Yes, you are getting them a drawback. It's not quite Time Walk Seek a Wish. It's not quite. So it's not a build around. We're not building around this card. This does not dictate our deck building choices. You either put it in or you don't. Time Walk does not give your opponent a hand full of priest cards and a bunch of mana to play them. Depends when you play it. However, on turn 2, yes, Zulan X, you got it. It's either a key supporter or it needs a nerf. These are the two options. So, here are the things that I like about Elucia. I mean, and by like, I mean find powerful. I should phrase that specifically, that I find powerful. First of all, denies them a draw. You swap the deck, they draw from your deck, and then they give you the deck back, and then you draw from your deck. Swap, draw, swap back, draw. 2 cards were drawn from your deck, which is the priest deck. 0 cards were drawn from their deck, which is the non-priest deck. Unless you're playing Priest Mirror, in which case that's on you if you want to play Priest Mirror. And so you drew 2 cards effectively, and they drew 0. And if you do it on turn 2, you can burn their coin if they have the coin. And what are they going to do? Thought Steal, and they put more cards in your hand, then give it back to you. So denies them a draw. Denies them the ability to develop on an early turn. Now, if they already have stuff, they can hit you with it. If you have good cards in your hand, if you have Apotheosis in your hand, you can't Elucia, and then they have a thing on board and they play your Apotheosis that's bad for you, right? You can't do that. And I think the thing that we don't understand about this card is how impactful will it be when you're giving your opponent your hands. How impactful is it going to be early game when you give your opponent your hand? If it's all reactive stuff, it's all reactive stuff. It changes how people play against Priest. If you're gonna Tog Waggle, then you Tog Waggle and play the Wand the same turn. And you already don't play Wand against Murozond, you already play Crown. Right. If you have a Galakron and you're the Priest, you have to play a Galakron first. For example, if you give them a Soul Mirror and they Soul Mirror you, that can feel pretty bad. I think it gets tricky later game. Against a combo deck, it is extremely powerful. Right, against a combo deck, it's very, very powerful. But the score I'm giving it, I want to be clear on why I'm giving it this score. The reason tempo is not the word. Play around, not build around, very well said. It's not a tempo card. Because tempo, it doesn't change initiative. Tempo doesn't really mean anything, right? It doesn't change initiative. It gives your opponent information, though information has limited value. It gives your opponent access to your cards, which may or may not be relevant. The reason that I think this card will end up not costing 2 mana when we're done is because of the Priest Galakron. And I think that if Priest Galakron did not exist, this card would not get changed. But because there are going to be players that are playing against 2, 3, 4 of those per game at 2 mana, that I expect this card to get changed. And at 2 mana as well, on turn 4, if you're a Highlander Hunter with a Zephrys on your hand, do you play it and get a 2-drop? Do you hold it and get a Luciad? What happens? Yeah, Dual Paladin I don't think it's a thing. The reason I think they will change this is not because of all the things we just discussed. I think it's just because of the Galakron Priest. You're not raised adding back a Lucius. That's not what we're doing. No way that's what we're doing. Refuse to believe that we care about this card that much. They could change it, and I will consider that a nerf, Steve. I will consider that a nerf to this card, which means I think it is a 6. I think they will find a way for this card and Galakron Priest to not interact the way that they will on release, and I will consider that a nerf to this card. So, I think it will get changed because of that. Now, should it cost 4? Possible. It possibly should. Should this be something that can't be generated? It's possible. What's up, Sidisi? But I think this card will get changed specifically because of the Galakron pool, and it's entirely possible it should be 4. Azalina saw some play, but Azalina was also 7, and Azalina was also permanent. This is not permanent. You just get to pick pieces out of your opponent's hand and then go back to what you're doing. What's up, Laurentius? Being able to pick pieces out of your opponent's hand and then going back to what you were doing. I don't know. Cost 11? I don't mind this card exists. I just wonder if it's cost correctly. Seekwish, the people that don't like Priest don't need help. I really don't think they do. I don't mind it being a dirty rat or something. I don't mind it being 3 or 4 mana and you can use it to hit some combo pieces. But also, they pick pieces out of your hand, but I don't know how many Priest pieces are relevant. I don't know. And you can also just jam it on 2 against aggro decks, and if they haven't developed, then that's good. But it doesn't influence initiative. I don't think that outside of the Priest Galakron situation, I don't think it would be a problem, but it's going to see enough. It's going to be seen enough that I think they'll change it for play pattern reasons. And they still have coin. If you jam it on 2 and they have the coin, it's really, really strong. Quest Warlock, Quest Warlock, it is a true dirty rat, and you have to draw it. I mean, if it's an aggressive Priest deck, you'd have to be really aggressive, and you'd have to not have a Voracious Reader in play, I don't think. Because Voracious Reader does not work well with this card. Yeah, well, it's in Wild, sure. It's going to change how people play. The only reason that I think it will get nerfed is specifically because of Priest Galakron. Handsome, thank you for the follow, welcome. If it were not for Priest Galakron, I think the card is probably balanced and hard to figure out, because I agree with Schwell on a lot of things about this card, that they get access to everything you're doing, and the Priest decks is currently built to have a lot of juicy mid-range minions, right? They play your Sethic. They play your Apotheosis. There's a lot going on. Yeah, this is not the reason why I'm going to stop playing Quest Warlock. If we were playing Quest Warlock when they have Wrench Caliber, we will play Quest Warlock because of Mindrender or Lucia, because Wrench Caliber is a lot more common and a lot harder of a counter. This is a legendary. Yeah. That could be possible, Mix. I do like that. Azuzu Hunter, thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, I mean, the Priest decks have a lot of random stuff in hand, but I mean, if you generate like a Sandhoof Waterbearer and they just play it, like, it's still pretty good. I think that giving the opponent access to your hand for free is going to be something relevant. Will it be relevant enough to contest how powerful it will be to do this? I don't know. My main concern about Quest Warlock is Secret Passage. Okay, that's enough about this. But I think this card will get nerfed because of Galakron. Nah, maybe. I don't think we're ever playing this. This could be a key support. I don't know. Secret Passage is a concern for every deck that wants to go to turn 7 or later. It's just so much damage. Devout is quite nice with Grave Rune. Sure, a lot of things are nice with Grave Runes. Like, it's fine. But this is going to cost like 4 or 5. Probably 4 or 5. It's good. It's fine. You can. Get your mez in the chat for Wave of Apathy. I want to hear your most indifferent exclamations about this card. Get some big indifference up here. Renew Face, sure. My favorite card ever? 1 mana Cold Blood. My favorite card in this set? Probably also Secret Passage. Oh yeah, well, Pain Zoo, yeah. Appreciate you apathetic people in the chat. Is this an indifferent stream? P-Sams, it's your time to shine. It's your time to shine. Exactly. People don't care. Yeah, Grave Rune I think is probably falling out of the deck. Shadow Word Horror, if only. If only. Why is Vulpera a 1 in Rogue? Which one? Oh. Which Vulpera? No, I'm confused. Oh, Toxin Blade? Toxin Blade I don't think is good. We'll talk about it. I think this is okay. I think this is... So, okay, I want to be clear on this card real quick. Filler support does not mean bad. Filler support means there's no deck that says, I need Lillian. And maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe the power level is higher than I think. But I think I'm more likely... Are these both filler supports? Really strong filler supports? Or are they both, like... Is there a deck that needs this kind of mid-range push? These should be the same rating. These should be the same rating. Right? Because they serve the same purpose, which would just be, like, a lot of mid-game pressure. I think the mid-game decks will always play both of these. They should both be the same. Should they both be 3? Should they both be 4? I don't know. Maybe. Fishy Flyer would have Catharsis. Catharsis. I see what you're doing. We have plenty of stealth minions. I'm not worried about that. It costs 4. This is not really a stealth minion. It's just a shredder. But yeah, I'm swayed by that argument. These are powerful, replaceable cards. But J-Bar... in aggro rogue, you gotta get more aggressive, Neji. You gotta get lower to the ground. Again, the Hockey Ultra Turbo. I'm gonna link it again. The Hockey Ultra Turbo. This is where I want to be. J-Bar with Shadow Step is good. No, Hockey's deck does not play anything that costs more than 2. Stops the curve at 2. Not aggro. I would play this in a mid-range. I'd play this in Galakron Rogue. Yeah, I think it is too slow. I think it'll feel like playing an Enteian or something. Are you a rogue player? P-Sams, you might be a rogue player. Yeah. We'll see. Stealth Gala Rogue, we probably do. J-Bar is a Highlander Rogue card. It is a Highlander Rogue card. I do think that we play her in any Galakron Rogue. I think it's pretty good. Kael'thas and Backstab, that's kind of funny. Yeah, Voracious Reader is really powerful. I'm not sure on these. Oh yes, but this is not we're not reviewing Mage right now. I do agree that she would, but I also think that she would be pretty replaceable. Like, key support is something that makes your deck function better. In fact, I wonder if this makes the stealth deck better for sure. I wonder if this really helps the stealth deck. Did Rogue have any build-around card? Edwin Van Cleef and Galakron. And Heist Baron Togwaggle. I wonder if Lillian is better. What are we doing with Potion Rogue? This is my rating for Potion. This is why I rated Potion at 2. I think I'm going to say that Lillian will be a key support card for any kind of stealth-based deck. I think I'm going to say Lillian is more important than J-Bar. New ones this expansion? I don't... no, Secret Passage. We're building around Secret Passage. It's crazy. But yeah. I rated Potion at 2. It's correct that it's either a 1 or a 5, probably. Key support is a reason to want to play the deck. Yeah, we can do that, and I think that Lillian makes me more likely to play a deck, and J-Bar is like... I want to cast J-Bar, but I don't... Is this good enough? Is this good enough on turn 5 that we just jam it? It is. I'm convinced. I'm back to double 4. I'm back to double 4. I think both these make Rogue better. I think both these make Rogue more playable. I'm back to double 4. Dies to Skipper? I mean, everything dies to Skipper. Everything dies to Skipper. So these are contextual ratings. As of right now, is fun. I do agree. I do agree that this will probably be good at some point, but I'm rating it based on right now because I can't rate it based on not right now. Cards will change. Yes, Star Aligner is a 7. Star Aligner is a 7 for sure. I mean, yeah, it dies to Dark Skies. Doesn't make me not want to play it. And also, you play your early threats, and then they Dark Skies you, and then you play J-Bar. I'm not going to say that Potion is good. I don't think it's a good card. I'm rating it a 2 so that when there's a crazy combo, I look slightly less dumb. Fringe application, but I think it'll probably be bad. Okay, yes, bad. I'm not sure about this one. Alright. Toxin Blade. If Toxin Blade lives... If Toxin Blade lives for 2 turns... Okay, it's a deadly poison. Toxin Blade lives for 2 turns, it's a deadly poison. Right? It's a deadly poison and a 2-mana 3/3. It does not give your weapon permanent attack buffs. It has to live. Oh, the card draw interaction. So if you Secret Passage, it zoops your hand away, and it draws you 5 blue cards. And then if you draw more cards, they are not blue, and you keep them after you zoop back. Right? So, you zoop. You get 5 blue cards. Any further card draw, if you play Clever Disguise, if you play Cutting Class, if you play anything else, you keep the extra cards, and then you zoop back. Yes, I do indeed love a good zoop. I think this is okay as far as stats. The thing about Toxin Blade, like, okay, if you go Dagger on 2, and then you go 3/3 on 3, and then you hit for 3, okay. Are we actually excited about that? Is this a filler support? Is this a filler support? Maybe. I think this is a trap. Can you draw the cards that were in your original hand? I don't know about that Catharsis. Like, T2 Dagger is fine. Turn 2 Dagger is fine. Right? But if we're committing to Dagger, Toxin Blade, and then they just have to kill a 3/3, is that exciting? If you top deck this, it buffs your weapon for a single attack. It's a Dark Iron Dwarf for your weapon. It is not SI. This is not SI. Not at all. You have to have a weapon equipped. You have to want the extra damage to matter. It's not extra damage, because we're not always equipping. You gotta go lower. This requires a weapon in play. Yes, every single discussion about this card is, if my 3/3 lives, if my 3-mana 3/3 lives, if your opponent does not want your 3-mana 3/3 to live, it dies. Sure, you can play it on 1 durability and it's not wasted, but it might be wasted by putting it in the deck. And yes, Matt, that's a good point. We're not playing SI either. If every discussion of this card starts with, if it lives, is the card actually good? Because it's a 3-mana 3/3. Right? It's a 3-mana 3/3 that has a mild amount of instant value. You have to need the extra 2 damage to kill something that your one attack dagger wouldn't have killed already. It can happen. Right? It can happen. But so, if you play it, it's a 3-mana 3/3 for 2 health. Or for 3-mana 3/3, and then we get +2 attack. Like, how exciting is this? I really think that there's not as much upside at this card, because it has to survive to get any kind of value that I want. If it does not live for 2 turns, if it does not live, it's an SI that cannot split your attack. Right? It's an SI that cannot split your attack. This is a Chaos Strike that doesn't draw you a card. It's not great, is exactly where I'm landing on it. Right? It's not great. Maybe we play it as filler, but I think the card is actually not that great. Face damage to you, I guess. I mean, everything is upside if it lives. I don't know. I really don't think it's all that good. I really think it's pretty mediocre. But I'll give it a filler support. I think we can give it a filler support. But I expect it'll fall out of decks pretty quickly. You don't need this in Weapon Rogue to push more damage. Good against Enraged 2/3s. Did Rogue really have problems with those, though? Like, I don't feel like Rogue had too much trouble with the Enraged 2/3s. It lines up really well if you go Dagger on 2, Toxin Blade on 3. I don't know. comparing it to... I don't know. It is right now Casual R. The meta will be different. Burgle Secret Rogue? Sure, I can see that. Do we Tour Guide and Weapon Rogue? That I don't know. That I think is an option. But if you Tour Guide on 1, that's so you can play something else on 2. Yeah, Scimitar could happen. So, like, Scimitar and Self-Sharpening Sword are also both really good. I don't know if I agree with either of those stars. I don't know if I agree with either of those. Like, I don't know if I want to play Steel Dancer either. It's not... No, it's... Because Kingsbane keeps aura buffs. Or Kingsbane keeps enchantments. This is not an enchantment. This is an aura. So, Kingsbane keeps enchantments. Yeah. Like, I don't love Steel Dancer either, but Steel Dancer, you just have any weapon in play, and it's a 4-mana 4/4 with probably a 3/3 if you have a 3-attack weapon. I don't know. Yeah, Tour Guide is pretty crazy. I do agree that Tour Guide's going to be really good. What's your 3-drop not for Vulpera? Self-Sharpening Sword. But also there are a lot of other 3-drops. It's not too hard to find other 3-drops. Evil Miscreant. Right? Frozen Shadow Weaver. I would rather play Frozen Shadow Weaver than this card most of the time. I think Frozen Shadow Weaver is better than this card. What do we play in Rogue right now? Greyheart Sage. Greyheart Sage. I don't want a dagger on 2. Just play Greyheart Sage. Just play Spy Mistress, Skyvateer, Greyheart Sage. Fine. 3-mana 3/3. No big deal. I'd rather play Greyheart Sage every time. You can play Seal Fate if you're playing Galakrond. Yeah. I mean, it's... Oh, I do like a good Ruru. But also you can... We're not done with Skyvateer. Absolutely not. 2-mana stealth minion, we're not done with that. If we need a critical mass of stealth, we're playing Skyvateer. But a Self-Sharpening Sword on 3 is also just strong. Just good. Yeah, I don't... we're not done with Skyvateer. We are not done with the new neutral 3/1 stealth. Strong disagree. We might play both. Could be. Do I think Death Rattle Hunter will work out? No, I do not. Do not. It's slow on curve, like, fine. Speaker Gidra, Matt, I strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. Speaker Gidra seems insane to me. Seems really, really powerful. I don't know why it would be bad, honestly. Like, I will play this as a 4-mana 2/5 Rush Wind Fury. Quest Druid, no, I don't think. Lightning Bolt with a Storm's Wrath, it's crazy. I do agree that weapon is nutty. For Rogue weapon deck, you probably start off with Spy Mistress into something. I haven't looked too closely at it, but I think so. I don't understand... Okay, so why is Gidra not good? Somebody walk me through that. You play Gidra with... Okay, so you innervate first. You can innervate first. But, like... With Gidra, I want maybe 2 mana is crazy. 1 mana is good enough. I don't see what Gidra is. I don't get the downside. We'll talk about Tour Guide Mage Death. Don't you worry. We'll talk about Tour Guide extensively. Holy viewer count. Hey, thanks everyone. I'm glad you're all here. So Steekowish, play both. I think that you probably play both. I just want to play Gidra on 3. Or a Gidra on 4 with any 1-mana spell. Or Gidra on 5 with any 2-mana spell. I want to play Gidra with anything. Or Gidra Pass. Gidra Pass. Go ahead. They have nothing? Farsight. You take 8. I don't know. It's not even a soft taunt. It's a board removal. Yeah, Rockbiter. That's juicy. There's a lot going on. Major Death. We'll talk about. There's a lot to talk about Tour Guide. Lots to talk about Tour Guide. But yeah, I think that we just put this in every Shaman deck. I just want it in every Shaman deck. So 1/4 with Wind Fury and Taunt, like, fine. Well, also with Rush, right? Also with Rush. Looking forward to playing the most. damage rogue and spell damage mage and other decks with the word damage in them. But there are a lot. I also definitely want to try some Soul Fragment Warlock decks, but they're probably pretty bad. Oh, and Pain Zoo. I want to play some Pain Zoo. Anyways, I just want to play this with, like, you can play it with Storm's Wrath. You can play this with any cheap spell. But even just a Lightning Rod, if I played this, think about a lot of early boards. Think about a lot of early Demon Hunter boards. I don't know, you play this on turn 3 with, what does Shaman play for 2 mana? Maybe the issue is that Shaman doesn't have good stuff. But yeah, Wind Fury Taunt. I think it scales really well. I think it's really flexible. Yeah, Krebmart, that's pretty reasonable. I think that's pretty reasonable. I like the Hanar comparison. I think that's pretty close. But it's a 1-4 instead of a 1-5. Because the Shaman card, they had to make it a little worse. I think it's good. I'm not sure about this card. Oh, Diligent Note Taker. Yep. I think okay. I think I like these. Trick Totem? No, I hate Trick Totem. Alright, I'm gonna hit the bathroom, but talk amongst yourselves. You know what? I'll even leave the sheet up so you can all look at stuff. Go ahead. Alright, where are we? So, Trick Totem... Alright. Someone walk me through Trick Totem. Someone walk me through that. So, I mean, you can... It's if your dream scenario involves the coin, that happens half the time. I don't know. I think Studies is fine in the Spell Damage Shaman deck. Just because you need to get there. Oh, congrats on 1,000 wins, Littlefoot. It's a 2-mana totem with 3 HP. No, it's a 2-mana do-nothing because it kills itself. It kills itself. It dies. Oh, it's... We looked up... Okay, so just to make sure that everyone is clear on how this works, I want to make sure that we look over... It will play... Trick Totem casts any spell that costs 3 or less with random targets. Now, are there a lot of beneficial spells? Maybe. Are there a lot of inefficient cards? Yeah, I do hate this card. Like, there are some beneficial spells. There are a good number. What is the purpose you're putting this in your deck? Right, you can't get the quests. You can skip over the quests. You can get the side quests. Ray of Frost your own minion, overwhelm your own thing, or maybe a Blessing of Wisdom it. I don't know, maybe you play Elemental Allies. I don't know if it survives. You can't convince me that it regularly survives. You can play all the plagues. You can overload yourself. You can deal damage to the board. It could be really good. Sometimes it'll be really good. Sometimes it'll be really bad. You're putting this in your deck for the chance of it being really good? For all these things that could happen to you that are bad? You could buff your enemy's minion. Play a secret. The hero power doesn't cost you a card. This costs you at least 1 card. If it casts more random spells, come on, PWE. Come on. Come on, buddy. Even if it's good, I don't think it's worth it. You do not want the totem because you don't want these things to happen to you. The downside is probably significant enough. I don't know. If anyone wants to try it, go nuts. I'm not doing it. I refuse. Cast a random secret? Sure, but it doesn't. It does not say that. Ugh. Yeah, no, I... If you want to build around this card, you can. If this card is good, I'll be upset. So I'm giving it a 1. Fun, sure. I mean, if it's competitive, that's not going to be fun. If it's not competitive, then sure, fine. Ugh. And we'll see playing Totem Shaman. I don't know. I don't know about that. If it wipes your own board one time, it's not worth it. I think I'm leaving these where they are. I think I'm leaving all these. Nerf from the secret version? Maybe. Do you run it? I don't know. I think the downside is so significant. Like, you'll Plague of Flames. Bloom and Shaman. Okay, so we should talk about Bloom and Shaman. I don't know what we're doing with this card is the thing. I don't know what we're doing with it. And that is the question. Squall Hunter, sure. It's one card. It's one card and we can't have any follow-up, so you need that 5/7 to be good for 2 turns. Need that 5/7 to be good for 2 turns. And that's on turn 2 half the time. Yeah, I mean, you're overdrafting your account, right? And then you just skip a turn. If we have other overload, then Bloom defers it. But we have to have really powerful things that we're overloading for, and I don't know that we do. Don't know that we do. Burn Shaman with Reader, sure. Is this a key support card? It's key to the deck? Unlimited power a few times. You ever seen the movie The Big Short? Me neither. We don't have card draw, no. Right, so we have to get some kind of big thing. You have to get some kind of big deal payoff, and I don't know what that payoff looks like. I don't know what that is. I'm going to leave it for now, but I'm prepared to say that I don't know. I mean, yeah, reader and note taker, sure, right? Do we need the innervate there? Is it good just because we're getting cards out of our hand? That's true, it does give +0/+0. Pull Kelton to Boom Prime, maybe. Later, Zeroshio. Thanks for hanging out. I am not paying Overload 2 for a Spellbook Binder. That seems all kinds of not worth it. I don't know what we do. I don't know where we play this card, but I bet there will be someone that'll figure it out. I'll leave that for Jombre. I'm gonna leave that where it is. Okay. Yes. I think. So I think this is more of a build-around card. So what's interesting is that I rated this a build-around in Demon Hunter, but not in Warlock, and that means one of them is wrong, and that means this one is wrong. Yeah, okay. So we're building around this. Building around this. I can't have the same card have different roles in different decks, I don't think. Well, I mean, I can, but in this particular case, we're not building around this, we're building around Scholar, I think, more than anything. Yeah, like a Blastmaster. I think that's fair. Dark Lair, oh, absolutely. And Flesh Giant. Flesh Giant is 100% the payoff. I think that I stick with Brittlebone at harder to use than it looks. So I think there will be decks that do. I don't like Soul Shear. I think Soul Shear is not a good card. I think Soul Shear is the bait card of the Soul Fragments. I feel like this card is just not worth the deal. 2 mana to deal 3 is pretty medium. Doesn't go face. Really awful top deck. Really, really awful top deck. Are we building around the Shadowlight? We're building around the Soul Fragment mechanic, and this is the payoff, I think. Yes, I think we are. I am specifically starting with this and maybe not Militia, but if I'm playing Soul Fragments, I'm 100% playing this, and I'm probably 100% playing Void Drinker. You keep drawing. You keep drawing. I don't think that Militia is as good of a payoff as Void Drinker. I wonder if this is the build around too. I wonder if we're actually building around this. I think it's actually maybe this. I don't know about Soul Shear. Is this right? Is this right? I think this is actually more correct. I think we're actually building around Void Drinker on 5. And not Scholar on 3. Yeah, I think that's better. But Dan, you keep drawing if you tap into a Soul Fragment. You don't just stop there. Demon Discover, I'm not sure about Demon Discover. I'm not sure about this. The demons that we were discovering from are pretty bad. Yeah, I can see decks playing Void Drinker and not Scholar. I also see decks playing Void Drinker and not Militia. Because the difference is, this is the Soul Fragment deck, this is a deck with Soul Fragments. This is a deck with Soul Fragments. This is the Soul Fragment deck. Does the Soul Fragment deck exist? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not ready to call it bad. I will say that this card is a payoff that needs a lot less support. I don't know about Sense. I don't know about Studies. Militias is better than I think it seems. And this, I think, is actually better than I think it seems, too. I think we need Raise Dead. I think we need it. I think it's really good in Warlock. I think it's really good in Warlock, specifically. I wonder if it's actually better than this. Could be. Ray is dead. Yes. Sorry, Ray. Is this better? Is this a key support? Do I need this, or do I just want this? Do I need this, or just want this? There have been a whole bunch, Krebmart. Whole bunch. Well, yeah, Dark Lair is obviously crazy. I think this is a filler support. I don't like Soul Shear. Do we play Soul Fragments and Raise Dead Zoo? I don't think so. You can play just Jailer. You can play just Jailer. Yeah, well, we're doing the Warlocks. I do agree that Raise Dead and Priest is good. Yes. It's the Raise Dead is particular intonation. We just play Spirit Jailer. Well, yeah, DH would play the 4-mana 4/2 weapon if it was blank. Doesn't care about the text. Yeah. I think I like my ratings here. I think I like these. Soul Shear, but Soul Shear is bad against the Og Merchant package. Isn't this bad against Og Merchants? Don't they just bubble up their minion, then you look at your stupid Dark Bomb? Like, this is just a stupid Dark Bomb. Oh yeah, Spirit Jailer, like, you can just play Spirit Jailer, and you can just get incremental payoff and value there. But, is every deck playing Fragments? I guess that's true, actually. I guess that's true. Is every deck that's playing Fragments playing this card? Fragments off Skull, you don't discount the next cards. That's just how Cast When Drawn works. If you're playing Demon Hunter and you skull into Fragments, you do not... Yeah, it's the same as any Cast When Drawn card. Cast When Drawn eats your discount. If you skull into a Soul Fragment, then you do not get the discount on the next card. Yeah, that's just how Cast When Drawn works. That's like if you want into a bomb, you don't discount the next card that you draw. Cast When Drawn replaces it. I think it's more likely like this. I think School Spirits is sometimes, and Jailer is probably an always inclusion if we're playing any kind of Fragment. And I really don't want to play Sheer. The only reason I would play Sheer and not Spirits is if I'm an aggressive deck, and if I'm an aggressive deck, then I think that's really optimistic. So I think I'm in mid-range. I'm more likely to play both of these, but I think Spirit Jailer will see more play, and will just help more decks do more things. Devoted Maniac, yeah. Is it more like the Shield? Yeah, that's exactly how it works, Proxalox. Exactly how it works. Well, School Spirits, you're probably not playing this in Demon Hunter because it's a Warlock card. So you're definitely not putting this in your Demon Hunter deck. Feel very confident in that. Unstable Fellbolt is better than Sheer. It's half the price. And even then, we're playing a one-of. But if we're playing Quest Warlock, then sure. I think I'm going to call it Narrow. I think I'm going to call it Fringe. I'm gonna call this Fringe. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna call it Fringe. Okay. This is better than I rated it. Yeah, this is better than I rated it. Oh yeah, Soul Fragments are bad, I think. But I'm not rating them as bad yet because I want to play them, and I recognize that might be illogical. I missed that Barov Skipper is kind of insane. So, like, you just play Barov Skipper, and it just clears. It just clears. And given that it's... Yeah, the big board weakness thing, so I do think that Warriors have other weaknesses. In particular, sequential big boards and lots of healing. But Barov Bladestorm, or you can go Barov, then Skipper, then anything. There are so many ways for Barov to be crazy. So you can go Barov, then Skipper, then Sky Raider. Wipe your opponent's board. You can go Skipper Barov, Barov Sword and Board. Yeah, there are a lot of things that you can do with Barov in Warrior that just make it a really reliable, full damage agnostic board clear. And that seems like it needs to be called a key support card. Because Enraged Warrior would play this today, and it would make the deck better. It just makes Skipper even better than it was before. And that's kind of crazy. So, I agree with Vicious Syndicate on that front. Yeah, Barov Terran, I could see that for sure. I mean, Skipper Barov leaves behind a 3-1 that whirlwinds. Just a 3-1 that whirlwinds. I don't know. Ah, thank you, Dan. Like, Skipper Barov, it's just 4 mana, quality clear. Clues, thank you for the Twitch Prime! Hats off to you, welcome, friend. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate that. Is this really a bad in Warrior? Yeah, it is. It is. The Skipper dies if you go Skipper Barov. That is correct. Yep. Skipper dies. But if you go Barov first and then Skipper, then you only get the... then you have a 3-1 that whirlwinds when it dies. Dorm card, sure. With Gnarg. But if you go Barov Skipper something... So if you go Barov Skipper something, if you play 2 minions, then you actually clear the Skipper, because you whirlwind twice. I don't want to play this in Bomb Warrior. Bomb Warrior does not need random stats. Like, the thing is, this has to give you something. You have to be really proactive. So, like, I don't think the random stats are as relevant here, unless we're really pushing with weapons. And Warrior isn't really going to push a lot with weapons, I don't think. I don't know. I don't really see it. Here. If we play Reaper, maybe, but Reaper costs 5. Yeah, so you go Skipper Barov most of the time, I think. I think this card is better than it looks. Spell Cleave is pretty solid, but maybe it's just a filler support card. I'm not sure about this one. Yeah, I mean, but Gnarg is already a high rolly card. I don't want to play a card that rewards my other high rolly card. I don't know when I'd be playing this, but I do think it could be alright. I feel like that this rating is a mistake. Why do I feel like I'm missing out on some weapon synergy something that's going to make all of these weapon cards crazy? Why do I feel like I'm missing something that's going to make all these weapons nuts? Quest Warrior? Maybe. Feel like I'm missing something for the weapons. Like... maybe it's Reaper Scythe. Maybe this is the thing. That Valpyra lives. Well, that's a rogue card, and this is Warrior, so it's unlikely to live in Warrior. Yeah. Kind of Aeroponics? I guess so. But, like, we're not playing Aeroponics. It is harder. Greenskin? I mean, I don't mind a greenskin, but yeah. Oh, no, Dr. Krastanov? Or Krastanov? Dr. Krastanov is fine. It's a fine card. Oh, the... Well, we're not talking about Rogue right now. It is a dual class card. But we're doing only the Warrior context. All the dual class cards we listed twice because they're contextually very different. And I think in Warrior, cutting class is pretty bad. Krastanov is not a pirate, and also if your opponent does not have any minions, it does not buff your weapon. Yeah, no worries, Necrodent. Yeah, I mean, but it's... Aeroponics, if we played 8 weapons, then I'd get it. But what does Weapon Warrior look like? What does Weapon Warrior look like? What is a Weapon Warrior? I feel like I'm missing something, but I can't find it. The only thing I can find is Reaper Scythe, and even then, that's just, like, kind of awkward. And this is not purposeful. We're not proactive enough. I don't see it. In Wild, well, sure. In Wild, there's a lot going on. Yeah, I agree, Bach. This is better than Rampage, and I'm not calling either key support. I don't want to go Arcanite Reaper into turn 4. But sure, I mean, with Arcanite. Did we talk about Crescent Sidisi? We did. Alright, Sidisi, just for you, thank you for the bits. Just for you, we'll scroll back up. I think that in Hunter, which I assume you would rather talk about Hunter than Demon Hunter. Ah, well done, Bit. Congratulations, that's a fast legend. Alright, Hunter cards. Just for you, Sidisi, this is where I'm at with this. Yeah, the old Cash, I assume that Corsair Cash was pretty proactively nerfed because of cutting class and Steel Dancer. I think that was pretty important. I do think that True Aim is actually, I nudged up. I think it's a key support card. I think it helps your Hunter minions trade and go face at the same turn. Alright, where are we? Neutrals. Major Death, you still here? You still here, Major Death? If you are, we'll jump straight to Tour Guide. Because I am also pretty sure I misevaluated this. I'm pretty sure this is actually this. True Aim with Ace Hunter. It's even that, just with Felma. Yes, I agree, Steve, that I think so, but I think I would also call Rampage filler support. Tour Guide. Okay, so Tour Guide I want to go through. The most obvious application... The most obvious application here is Warlock. Warlock, turn 1 Kobold Librarian. Turn 3, if you want to tap and Tour Guide, you tap first and then play Tour Guide to make next turn better. It's really, really good with Dark Glare, really good with Brittlebone Destroyer, really good with Diseased Vulture. So I think all those life tap activations seem pretty clear to me. In Priest, it seems pretty bad. Totem Shaman, it's a 1-mana totem. And Rogue, it's a 1-mana weapon. I don't know if either of those are good enough. Hunter, you can save it for Phase Stalker on 2. Seems pretty good. In Demon Hunter, you already have a card that does this, but it doesn't bank this. So you could theoretically play this in Demon Hunter to make Satyr Overseer better or Glavebound Adept better. I'm not sure we actually do that. It's very good in Odd Decks and Wild. We're not raiding Wild, but that's sick. I hadn't thought about that. Warrior, you obviously don't play it. Paladin, you could play it. Could be fine in Paladin. I'm not convinced on that being really good. But I think the Hunter payouts are good. Shaman is just like, it's 1 mana and a totem. And Paladin is just, I guess in Paladin, just, it's what, Lost in the Jungle? I guess it's just Lost in the Jungle? Yep. Seems fine. You can play it in Quest Shaman. Do we run that in Quest Warlock? You could. I've heard worse ideas. In Quest Warlock, you can go in any Warlock, turn 3, tap, and then play it. I think that's enough stuff. Does that all make sense? I think it's a powerful card. Yeah, I think so, Steve. I think it's worth it. I think a lot of the times the half-price Novice Engineer and Warlock, and that's really, really strong. And also the activators, the 0-mana activators seem pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of 3s, probably. I think in Warlock it's key, but I could buy the argument that it's just a powerful filler support. Good with Panthara? Yes, it's good with Panthara. Though I think it's more that Panthara is bad without this. Is this better than Questing Explorer? Probably. I think yes, because also it innervates you the turn that you quest tap, right? Any turn you play this, it innervates you. I think it's key in any Warlock deck, actually. I think Warlock is just going to be playing this forever. And I think it's not easily replaceable in Warlock. I think that is vital enough. Tap, proc, Plague of Flames. Could see it. Even Hunter, yeah, as long as you don't want to run Scavenger's Ingenuity, which I guess you don't. Reflection on turn 3 guaranteed, that's pretty solid. I do like that. I think in Warlock it's key. I think I would not play a Warlock deck without this card for a while. It's close enough to Kobold Librarian that I think we just run it. Quest Druid. Are you messing with me, PWE? Are you messing with me? Feel messed with. I think I'm being messed with. Okay. Start at the top. Start at the top. Stand by this. Yep. We are absolutely building around this. Is this fringe or is this bad? I went over this last time. This is bad, right? Jiraxis Synergy. That's pretty hilarious. I'm fairly confident that I'm going to go through this again, and this is terrible. Kael'thas is threatening? How is Kael'thas threatening? Kael'thas is a 5-mana 4/6 that makes your actually good removal spell better. I don't see it. Yeah, I'm pretty sold on Sphere of Sapience. Also, anybody that talks to me about Sphere of Sapience in a deck with Life Tap and Plot Twist, no. Yeah, that's a bad card. Okay. KT, I don't understand. I'm pretty sure that I don't like this card. It feels super clunky to me. Feels like I want to play this when my removal is already strong. And so maybe we create a really powerful board swing, but it's dependent on what our opponent is playing. Fringe Priest card, maybe. Like, I don't know if it's good, but I don't like it. I don't see it. I mean, it becomes a 5-mana mind control if your opponent has something good and you have the perfect target on curve and all those cards are active. Like, you have to make sure that you have a bunch of armor, that you have a Shadow Word Death and a big target, or that you have a Torrent, you played a spell last turn, and you have KT in your hand, and you care about what you kill, and they don't have other things you care about. It's so many hoops to jump through for a conditional mind control when you don't even have agency over what you're taking. Vectis is probably a build around or bad, I just don't know what it is. It's a 4/6. Tika Wish is a 4/6. You want to play a Spiteful Smith? There you go, Enthrallment. I like that rule. If you want to play a Spiteful Smith, you can practice it now. I don't think it's going to be as hard to develop into as you might think. What's up, Flea? How's it going, buddy? Vectis, I don't understand. Do you notice that I gave Vectis the same score as Potion of Illusion because I don't get it? But someone's going to get it. There might be something there, I just don't know what it is. Spellwing, Starscryer, Solarian, huh. A 6? That's crazy. I don't see the 6. Lillian Voss, Vectis Rogue, okay. Death Rattle Rogue, I guess. What are we death rattling? Yo, the Contractor, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. Really appreciate it. Hats off to you. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Thank you for the support. Anubisath? We're deep in Magical Christmas Land now. We're deep in If Wishes Were Fishes. Sure, so, in what world are we playing Cursed Vagrant or Scrapyard Golem? Necrium Apothecary? I don't know. What is the use case you think it will get nerfed, Proxalox? I do not see it. Prime Synergy, if you want to shuffle a bunch of primes in, I guess. You have to shuffle a ton of primes in. But even then, it's 5 mana for a 4/4 and 2 1/1s. They don't work as fun. Yes, I suppose so. Yeah, so the Battle Cries doesn't work. Eggs, I guess? Okay. The 1/1s don't have taunt, right? You just attack past the 1/1s? It does not work with Battlecry Death Rattles. It only works from your Death Rattle minions, I don't think. Like, maybe, okay, so that's a good point, Substance D. You're right, it is worded differently. So, okay, every single plan I'm hearing in chat is step 1, get to like 8 mana. Step 2, play a really good Death Rattle. Step 3, wait. And I don't follow that as being good. I do not follow step 1, get to 8 or later. Like, people are saying 10 drops. Proxlox, you're playing a 5-mana 4/4 that has no defensive abilities and 2 1/1s. You're playing Leper Gnomes? Is that really enough to get this card nerfed? That's 5 mana for a medium amount of stats. I don't really see it. Yeah, this card seems pretty questionable. Thalnos and Albatross, is that worth it? Why is that worth it? I don't really understand. I just want to go face. Gets you tokens, yeah. I see this as being a card that people really want to make work. If I'm in a Face Hunter deck and I'm adding a 5-drop in a deck that probably just plays Voracious Reader, I'm not playing this card. Just put Voracious Reader in the deck, I guarantee will be more damage. This is not a finisher. It's not a finisher. It's a 4/4. Just play Voracious Reader. Silence? What are we silencing? I'm not sure, Wild Scientist. I'm not sure really what we're silencing. I don't think that the power of this set is going to be in board development. Like, just play Voracious Reader and Hero Power, and I guarantee you will get way more damage than Vectus. I'm not hearing any argument for this card to be nerfed or even played. Like, just play in every Highland. I do not understand. I straight up don't get it. Like, we're making it's a Syndragosa, except you don't get a good body. I don't know. It's a Syndragosa. Yeah, Primes. You want to if you shuffle 2 Primes in your deck, you shut off your Highlander cards. When you shuffle two Primes in your deck, you turn off your Highlander cards. That does not seem like it belongs in the Highlander Mage deck. Vectus Syndragosa, it's a lot of legendaries. A lot of cool legendaries. But I do not see... This card is so tempo negative. This card is the anti-tempo. This strikes me as... I mean, they don't need to be that good, but they need to be something. Rate the set at this point. I think this set is probably... So here's the thing. There are about 5 cards in this set that I would rate really, really highly. The set as a whole, I think, is about a 6. But there are a few cards that are really significant outliers. I don't know. I don't really understand Vectus. I don't really get it. I mean, I guess so. It's a 5-mana 6/6 that eventually draws you 2 cards, except you can't really combine stats that way. It's fine. It's fine. It's 5 mana for... Okay, so you know what else is a 5 mana 4/4 that gives you a really good payoff if you live? Dark Pharaoh to Khan. You play a 5 mana 4/4 that gives you a really big payoff if you make it through the game and you have a lot of setup. Dark Pharaoh to Khan. So, I don't know. I think this is better than Dark Pharaoh to Khan. I think it's easier to set this up, but it's still so tempo negative. I don't really get it. It's decent if you survive with the 1/1s and that matters, but it's a really, really... It's a greedy value card. I'm just not seeing this card as broken. I'm not seeing as broken. I do think there will be some decks that will use it. That's why I'm leaving it as a 2. Is it a thing? It's kind of a thing. People have told me it's a thing. I question if it's a thing. I don't know. Alright, I'm leaving this where it is, and I think I might be being too generous. Narrow. This is probably just bad. I think that it is... If I were rating it today on what I think as of right now, I would say probably a 1. I think it is probably bad. I think it is probably a bad card. With that being said, I'm giving it a 2 because I think there are narrow applications for it. Yeah. Fine. I don't know about this one. I do know about this card. I am surprised this costs 2. I am surprised this costs 2. It's a good point substance, though. I hadn't thought about this could be any Death Rattle, because it says gains a Death Rattle from your minions that died. It doesn't say Death Rattle minions. That's a new wording. So I'm going to make a note of that. So if this gets you a Terran, Death Rattle, do I still believe in the spell damage X? I don't know if this rating is right. Actually, I'm going to ask. Hold on. Where is, let's see, Vectus. I'm going to Google Vectus. Vectus. Death Rattle. So, what did they say? Their devs did not respond. The devs did not respond. Not that I saw. Interesting. So if you Grave Rune a minion, if it works with Grave Rune and Terran... I'm going to make that note. I'm going to make that note. I think that matters. Yeah. Moknathal Lion. I don't know about this card. It's just a lot of stuff. But I don't know if it's too much stuff. If it gains the actual effect, yeah. Like, if it gets what Terran did, that's crazy. It makes a very, very different card. And that, I think, would be broken. I don't know how good this is. I wish there was a dormant spell damage minion. Voracious Reader just doesn't cost enough, right? I don't think Voracious Reader costs enough. I don't know. Maybe it is. Like, so the thing about Voracious Reader that I'm not sure about, there is actually some ambiguity on this for me. Because Jeeves is really tricky. You can't actually play this early, and it doesn't draw you cards the turn. Like, you don't get usable cards the turn you play it. You want to end a turn with it. Yeah, it's true, Istvan. That might be true. So the thing is, how often does this actually draw us 3 cards? If it just draws us, if it's just a 2-mana 1/3 draw 2 cards, is that worth it? Yeah, probably. 3 mana. It's possible, Andrew. See, I don't know about this. I don't know about this card, because I see so many worlds where you have 1 or 2 cards in hand and it's just not all that great. If it ever draws you 1 card and then dies, it's a Novice Engineer. And that's not crazy. Acolyte of Pain also was a different kind of thing. But Reader is neutral card draw. I feel weird about this card. I feel weird about this. It does influence your deck. Better stats than Novice Engineer. The 2 extra health is not going to matter too much at the turn where this happens. It's reasonable as a fail case, but like it can still be slightly better than Novice Engineer, I suppose. I don't know. Novice Engineer got nerfed when it was a 1/2. Don't know if it'd get nerfed today, but it did. Okay. Highlander decks? No, Highlander is way too slow. Highlander decks are going to have a lot of, Highlander decks are going to have a lot of really high-end cards. Like, you're not playing a Highlander deck, I think, without some kind of payoff that's at least 5. And this influences your deck building so much. You need this to be good. Voracious Reader alongside Elucia, that's true. Yeah, it does attract a lot of removal. I think I'm going to leave the rating for now, but I could see Andrew's argument. I'm actually torn on it. I'm going to leave Substitute where it is. I think this card's okay. Did you know this card's a dragon? Did you all know this card's a dragon? Casual did. I didn't until recently. I think it's better in Dragon Hunter than some of the current dragons. I mean, I think you play this over, like... I think this is better than Big Whelp. I think I would rather play this than Big Ol' Whelp. That's specifically the card that I want to replace with this. And maybe that's wrong, but I would rather play this than Big Whelp. Debatable, sure. Well, Dragon Hunter's not playing Bone Wraith. Could run with Demon Companion. I could see that. A 5/5, I don't know if that's true, because the 5/5 costs an extra card, and you often do not have time to play it. The Twilight Guardian. Yes. It's an extra mana. An Aranasi Broodmother? I don't see the Broodmother comparison at all. Broodmother costs 6. Broodmother costs 6 mana and also gains you life. I don't see that comparison. But it's just a 4-mana 3/6 that is a dragon that has a payoff. I think there's something to it. But yeah, Twilight Guardian was a 2/6 base that gained it if you were holding the dragon. This is worse than that. But I think this is something that's gonna be in... I think you can make an argument for playing this in Dragon Hunter, and it attacks for a little extra. I don't know. I think there's something here. A big ol' whelp. What happens when I play big ol' whelp is on turn 5 I play something else, and then I look at this big ol' whelp and I say I'm never going to have time to play this game, or I play it on turn 6, and then I don't get to hero power. I play this on turn 6, I get to hero power. The Bone Wraith, I think that is a reasonable comparison. Or maybe, like, I don't know. It's another dragon. It's not embarrassing to play on curve. It can be defensive. Attacking for 4 for a 4-drop is fine. Yeah, I really dislike Big Ol' Whelp. I want to cut it from every deck I play it in. I don't think it's a good card. It's just so slow. And this, at least you can pair it with a spell if you want to, and then you have a taunt, or you can attack with it, or both. It's Dragon Fuel, so 4-drop instead of a 5-drop. I like it. I like it a good bit. I think there's more to this. And just as a dragon, I think it's okay. I think I would rather play this in Dragon Hunter than Big Whelp. I'm not currently playing Big Whelp in Dragon Hunter, actually. So, I think there's something there. It does want Worm Hugs, don't we all? Lake Thresher? Eh? I bet you like Lake Thresher, I don't. Is this a 4? There is a new elemental that discovers stuff, but it's an elemental. Fishy Flyer with Scargill, sure. Yeah, Guardian Animals is bad in Hunter. Is this a key support? Is this key? I think there are decks this will be key to. Well, it doesn't remove a minion by itself. It's a 1 mana 3/2. Kinda small time buck, kinda flame imp. I don't know about this card. It's a flame imp and rogue, yeah. Aggro is definitely gonna be good at Riston. Yeah. It's the rogue thing, like it's a very, very good rogue card. It's probably key to how rogue develops going forward. I think you almost certainly play it in rogue. Totem Shaman? Maybe. It's not a totem though. That's more of a token. Yeah, flame imp on 2, I'm not sure. I mean, we're playing this card. Is it key? We're playing it. Is it key? I think no. I think I'm sticking with my rating. It's harder to activate than you think it is. I'm gonna say that for sure. Ugh. Initiate Coin Beam. Anything that you have with any story that has the coin, half the time it doesn't work. I'm not going to give a card a higher rating just because of the coin's existence. Because that means half the time the card is bad. Like, I think Initiate is a good card. I think it's a good card. I do not think it is key, but I think it is very good. It's a good card. I think we do. I think we do run Panthara and Demon Hunter. We probably do. I think it's reasonable in Demon Hunter. Probably better than Vulpira Scoundrel. Yeah. I'm bumping it up. I'm bumping it up. Sure. I don't know. I don't know about Penflinger. Yeah, it's after you used your hero power, after you hit the button. But yeah, it's a 1-time. Oh, did you think it was every turn, Matt? If it was every turn, this is a 5. Or a 6. If it was every turn, this thing is crazy. Could do that. No, it's every turn that's crazy. Penflinger, I'm not convinced this is a 1. I just really hard to make work. Really, really hard to make work. Can DH live without Skull if you want to? Quest Rogue and Wild, if you really want to do that. Wild is a silly place. Wild has a lot going on. I would not want to be Penfling. I want to be taking extra turns and playing 0 mana 8/8s. I don't know about this card. I think there's something to it. Quest Shaman is the application that I want. Quest Shaman is what I want to do with this card. But I shouldn't be doing Quest Shaman. I don't know. Maybe there's something here. Maybe there's something here. Is this the old give it a 2 so that when someone combos with it, I'm not wrong? What is this? I believe that you do, Clark, but while it's top tier for Trollden videos, I don't know about ladder. Okay. In Wild, maybe. In Wild, we already have some broken stuff going on. I don't think that we were waiting for Pen Planger. Rogue Shadow Step, kinda. How does Sneaky Delinquent is a good card. I'm giving it a filler support. I think it's a good rogue card. I think it's solid. It's alright. If it weren't for Skipper, maybe it'd be better, but I think it's alright. Hey, what's up, Mentalistic? How's it going, man? Mentalistic, you still want to put Sphere Sapiens in a deck with Life Tap and Cobalt Librarian? Well, so what you do is you activate your Shaman quests, and then you play 2 Penflingers, then you Barista, and then you play 2 more Penflingers, and then you Innervate. And you Lightning Bloom, and then you hit your opponent for a lot of damage. That's the dream! Yo, PTZ points. Thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, it feels like a Magic card, but it doesn't scry on every draw, and Magic is very different, and also I don't think we play that in Magic now. Well, maybe after Days bans, maybe we would. I don't know. Is that it? Is that it? Am I done? Did we finish? Out of cards? We're never out of cards in Shaman. Never, ever. Yeah, MTG players are really big on scry. I think you'll be surprised at how poorly it lines up. He's not a dragon, and Discover is probably worse than the card draw. And I don't know how much play Azure Drake would see right now. We play it in Hunter, we play it in Mage, but in Elemental, we play it because of the Dragon tag. Yeah, Scry and Magic, sure. Exactly, Steve. Discover Azure Drake. It's not a dragon. I don't think that card is all that great. Like, it's fine, but I don't think it's all that great. And it costs 5 mana for a 4/4 still. Azure Drake activates a lot. Also, if Sphere started in your opening hand, you would be down a card, and if you want to play it in Quest Warlock in Standard, there's already a big deal that your turn 1 is spoken for. And also that you're already down a card. Alright, where are we here? Let me look at... What are my averages? I rated Druid, Shaman, and Warlock as the highest. I rated Rogue pretty high. Hunter is the worst. Demon Hunter pretty low. Yeah, I do not want to play Sphere. But in combo decks that don't have card draw power, so that means bad decks. It is no longer 2017, Jay. It's going to be very different. Very, very different. Look at decks now and think about where you'd run Azure Drake, and you will notice the difference very quickly. Yeah. But Sphere doesn't hit every draw. Azure Drake would actually see play because of Dragon Tag, because of Dragon Hunter, Highlander Hunter, and Highlander Mage. You would play it in those. You might play it in Rogue, I don't know. But you would play it in Highlander Hunter, Highlander Mage for sure. Because of the Dragon Tag. I don't know how you're not running statistics. I think you could make an argument for it in Highlander Hunter, but maybe not. That might be true. But so the thing is, if you really want to filter, combo decks don't want to top deck Sphere of Sapience. You don't want to top deck Sphere of Sapience. Whelp is worse than Azure Drake. I will stand by that. Whelp is way worse than Azure Drake. And Mage, because you don't want to play Whelp and Mage. I do think you want the spell damage. Thank you, Necrodan. I'm about to wrap up too. But Sphere of Sapience, if you care about the order of your cards and you're already running card draw, then it doesn't matter. It's a terrible top deck. You're only filtering if you get 4 extra turns after you play it. I guess that's true. Maybe we wouldn't even play it then. But so, okay. What did I rank highly? These are my builder rounds. Legendary, yeah. Let's look at my average. But I do think, yeah, you're right, Hachikumo, that the good decks definitely got less good stuff. Well, Warlock has some good decks. There you go. Thank you, Matt. Alright, let's look at my average. I think my average got higher. And I'm pretty sure Squall is still the lowest. Let's see down here. Boop, boop, boo. Okay. Yep. Squall and Theseus are the lowest, and Thrallman right behind him. Where am I? Okay, so 2.47. Yeah, a little higher than I expected, honestly. I'm probably too high on some of these cards. Definitely a little higher. Hockey Boys at 2.16, Nanko 2.29. I'm a little higher than Neji. Oof. Interesting.